Have you ever felt like your life was about holding onto a piece of hot coal? You know, it's burning you, causing pain, yet you can't bring yourself to let go, paralyzed by the fear of the emptiness that would follow. That agony, my friends, doesn't come from the coal itself. It comes from the very hand that insists on clinging to it. Welcome to my channel, Buddha Essence Wisdom. This is where we explore the ancient truths of Buddhism and apply them to find genuine peace in our modern lives. If these teachings resonate with your soul, please hit the subscribe button to support me in bringing you more insightful videos. Today I want to talk about the very first lesson, the one that so many of us, especially those who have crossed the midpoint of life, only realize when things have fallen apart. Holding on hurts more than letting go. I have met hundreds of souls in their 50s and 60s, people who are materially successful, yet carry a subtle, persistent pain in their hearts. They cling to an old identity that no longer serves them, a parent whose grown children no longer need controlling, a manager whose company has been handed to the younger generation, or an expectation of a marriage that should have ended years ago. Have you ever clung to a relationship that drained your energy, or a dream that no longer aligns with your truest heart? I want you to imagine this: when a leaf turns yellow and withers, the mother tree tries to hold it tight. But that leaf cannot be revived, and the tree's energy is unnecessarily depleted. The Buddha taught that the root of all suffering is attachment and craving. When we cling to what is trying to leave, we are engaged in a fight against reality, a battle we can never win. Letting go is not loss, my friends. Letting go is liberation. It is the moment you allow your heart to stop bleeding from old wounds. Only when the hand is open can you receive the new things that life is waiting to offer. Now we come to the realization that is often the most heartbreaking for people I counsel, especially those looking back on decades of life. Time is the one thing you never get back. It sounds simple, almost cliche, but the truth sinks in like an anchor when we are older. We spend so much of our lives under the illusion that there is an endless supply of time, that life is paused, waiting for us to finally be ready, successful, or secure enough to start living. The Buddha taught us that the antidote to regret is presence. Yet look at how we spend our days. We are caught in what I call the fog of unconscious living. We are constantly postponing our happiness, telling ourselves, "I will be happy when I retire," or "I will start that dream project when the children move out." Meanwhile, years slip by quietly in that fog. Think of how many hours you have spent trying to please people who would never do the same for you, or worrying about future outcomes that you have absolutely no control over. These moments, my friends, are the sand slipping through your fingers. I remember a gentleman, an executive in his late 60s, who came to me burdened by deep regret. His entire life was a rehearsal for retirement. He had the money, the beautiful home, but he realized he had forgotten how to simply enjoy a sunset or a cup of coffee. He had postponed life for so long that when the future finally arrived, he felt empty, disconnected from the very moment he was living in. The miracle is that everything changes the moment you become truly conscious of each single moment. Stop treating your life as a rehearsal. Stop delaying your joy. Every breath is a new beginning, and every moment is an opportunity to wake up. The moment you start living fully in the now, honoring the time you have, your life finally begins to expand in ways you never imagined. Let us now consider a painful truth that wounds the soul perhaps more subtly than any other. The relentless chase for approval leads only to emptiness. For much of our lives, we operate under the delusion that our worth is something others must hand to us. We try desperately to be liked, to be accepted, to be admired. Think back, how often have you entered a new room or a new group and immediately adjusted your personality? How often have you silenced your true self, your genuine opinion, just to avoid judgment or earn a nod of agreement? We often perform acts of kindness to gain praise rather than simply expressing who we truly are. And in that long, exhausting process of performing, we drift further and further away from our authentic core. I have witnessed countless high achievers, people who received every trophy, every promotion, every accolade the world could offer, and yet they confess to feeling profoundly hollow. This is because external validation is like trying to fill a cup with a hole at the bottom. It cannot and will never hold the weight of your true identity. Perhaps you felt this fleeting high. Someone praises you, and for a moment you feel wonderful. But then the feeling vanishes. Conversely, someone criticizes you, and suddenly your entire confidence collapses. This is what happens when your sense of self is built on shifting sand, the opinions of others. The profound realization, my friends, is this: your inner worth is innate. It does not need to be earned, and it certainly does not need to be validated by the world. Freedom begins when you commit to acting from authenticity, not from performance. The moment you stop asking the world, "Am I enough?" and start answering that question with a resounding yes from deep within your own being, is the moment emptiness transforms into enduring peace. It is time to reclaim the self you were born to be. My friends, let us turn our attention to the foundational architecture of our lives, a structure built not from grand gestures, but from grains of sand. You become what you repeatedly do. This is perhaps the most transformative and practical lesson the Buddha gave us. He taught that our lives are not defined by the big dramatic moments, but by the smallest, most repetitive acts. A thought becomes an action becomes a habit becomes character, and ultimately your character becomes your destiny. I have witnessed many individuals in their later years look back with a profound sense of shock. They find themselves in a place they never intended to be, simply because they spent decades unconsciously repeating patterns that guided them off course. We often wait for a massive surge of motivation to change our lives, believing that inspiration must precede action. But here is the painful, counterintuitive reality: discipline matters far more than motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the tide. Discipline, however, is the commitment to the person you are becoming. It is the steady hand that steers the ship regardless of the weather. Think of a simple daily example. Someone says they desperately want peace, yet the first thing they do every morning is scroll through negativity and criticism on the news or social media. Or someone who desires clarity but fills every quiet moment of their day with noise and distraction. Slowly, without even noticing, they become the result of those unconscious choices. The good news is that this truth works both ways. You do not become an awakened being all at once. You become awakened through the quiet, repeated choices you make every single day. A mere 5 minutes of mindful breathing each morning can reshape your nervous system. A small act of genuine kindness can soften your heart. Every minor action you take, every disciplined choice, is a brushstroke painting the direction of your future. Embrace the discipline, not the motivation, and watch the masterpiece of your new life unfold. Let us now consider the nature of relationship, which often brings us our deepest joys and our most profound sorrows. Not everyone who enters your world is meant to stay. This is one of the earliest and most painful lessons life whispers to us, yet we rarely heed it until the pain becomes unbearable. The Buddha taught a core truth. All beings are merely passing travelers. We are souls crossing paths for moments, seasons, or chapters, each carrying our own karma, our own journey, our own direction. The suffering begins when we stubbornly demand permanence from people who are only meant to walk with us for a while. We cling tightly to friendships that have slowly drifted to relationships that have lost their warmth, or to connections that once felt certain but quietly faded away. Think of someone you once shared everything with, someone who felt like a forever presence, a cornerstone of your world, and yet time, distance, or circumstance eventually carried you apart. When this happens, we often feel abandoned. We perceive it as failure. But in the grand scheme of the Dharma, it is simply impermanence, the natural flowing movement of life itself. I remember a woman I worked with whose best friend of 40 years had simply stopped calling. The grief was immense. I told her, this is not a failure of your love. It is the natural completion of a chapter. Freedom. My friends, comes when we stop clinging to the ghost of what was. When we can genuinely look at a departing person, whether through physical distance or emotional separation, and say, I'm grateful you were here, and I release you without resentment. To cherish without the need to possess is the key. This allows love to remain soft, gentle, and true, rather than desperate and demanding. It allows people to come and go without breaking the essence of who you are. Every person who leaves teaches you something invaluable before they go. Now let us delve into the subtle yet destructive habit of self-deception. This is the painful realization that the truth of your life will not wait for you to be ready to face it. For many years, we are masters of avoidance. We subtly dismiss the quiet whispers of our own intuition, choosing instead the temporary comfort of denial. Think about the difficult truths we often postpone, confronting a career that silently drains your soul, a relationship that has become toxic, or the persistent signals your body sends about a declining state of health. We postpone facing these realities because facing them demands action, demands change, and demands courage. But life operates on its own schedule. It never respects your denial. I have seen this happen repeatedly with my clients. They ignore the constant low-level stress of an unsuitable job or the nagging suspicion about a strained family dynamic until life has no choice but to force the issue. The quiet whisper becomes a loud shout. The job loss is sudden, the relationship implodes dramatically, or the health issue demands immediate, drastic intervention. The message here is profound. Listen to the whisper of life before it is forced to scream. The pain that compels us to finally change is often just the accumulation of all the small ignored truths. When you choose to ignore the signals, the tightening in your chest, the loss of joy, the feeling of dread, you are signing up for a much larger suffering down the road. Awakening requires courage. It demands that you develop the fortitude to look squarely at your current reality, no matter how uncomfortable, frightening, or difficult it may seem. By facing the small truths today, you prevent the large catastrophes tomorrow. Be brave enough to see your life as it truly is, because only from the platform of truth can you begin to build a future of peace. Let us circle back to the core of Buddhist philosophy, a teaching so simple yet so easily forgotten. The true source of your greatest pain is not the world, but the way your mind interprets it. We have already touched on this, but it bears deep repetition. We often mistakenly believe that events themselves, the unexpected diagnosis, the market crash, the harsh word, are the cause of our prolonged misery. However, the Buddha reminded us that external events are temporary, they come and go. It is the internal commentary, the continuous loop of interpretation, magnification, and recreation by our minds that sustains the suffering long after the moment is past. Think of it this way. The event is the initial cut, but your mind is the voice that repeatedly presses the wound, ensuring it never truly heals. Your mind catastrophizes. It replays memories of failure and guilt, weaving entire narratives from single moments of doubt. I have counseled individuals who, despite living a peaceful present, are utterly tormented by the past. The painful and profoundly liberating realization is this: peace is truly an inside job. You cannot stop the world from presenting challenges, but you can learn to guide your mind with gentle authority. The practice here is mindfulness, the act of observing your thoughts without judgment, without becoming them. When you observe the thought, you create space. You realize, I am having a thought about being unworthy, rather than the absolute declaration I am unworthy. When you learn to step back and simply watch the stream of mental chatter, the suffering softens. The mind, my friends, holds the potential to be your greatest prison, a cage built from regret and fear. But it also holds the potential to be your greatest source of freedom, a boundless space of wisdom and calm. The choice lies in how you use this powerful instrument, tuit voi. Delefen kit ban tip tau tup trung va by huk ve long tot va tu trek self-compassion, tip tuk zu donke chuin trit li fall va trin kam hung bang tingan. YouTube script. Lesson 9. You must give yourself what you seek from others. Visual Zen master speaks warmly, placing a hand gently over his heart, conveying sincerity and inner kindness. Zen master. Now let's explore a profound lesson rooted in the practice of love and kindness. It is the realization that you must give yourself the very nourishment you spend your life seeking from the outside world. In my decades of counseling people in their 50s and 60s, I've encountered countless beautiful souls, wonderful caregivers, devoted parents, diligent workers who feel a deep, confusing emptiness. Why? Because they spent their entire lives pouring their energy into nurturing others. Their children, their partners, their careers, without ever truly nurturing themselves. They seek validation, compassion, and kindness from external sources. Yet what they truly lack is self-compassion. They treat themselves with a harshness, a critical inner voice that they would never tolerate directed at a friend or even a stranger. Think about this. When you failed, who was the first and loudest voice of criticism? Was it the world, or was it the voice inside your own head? We have been conditioned to believe that self-criticism is the path to growth, but often it is merely the path to exhaustion and self-rejection. The practice here is revolutionary. Learn to be kind to yourself, especially in moments of failure, weakness, or human imperfection. Treat your mistakes with the same gentleness and understanding you would offer a child or a close friend. This is not selfish, it is essential. Only when you commit to filling your own cup to cultivating inner worth and self-compassion can you give fully and freely to the world without becoming depleted and resentful. When your core is full, your love flows out effortlessly. Stop searching outside for the acceptance and kindness that you can and must provide for yourself today. This foundational kindness is the bedrock of lasting peace. My friends, let us conclude with the final necessary jolt that often awakens us late in life. No true transformation ever occurs within your comfort zone. As we age, it is natural to seek safety, predictability, and ease to build a sanctuary of comfort. We become deeply attached to our routines, our familiar thoughts, and our known boundaries. However, this very attachment to security, to the so-called comfort zone, becomes the invisible cage that stifles growth and invites regret. Many of the most profound regrets I hear from people over 50 are not about actions they took, but about actions they didn't take. They regret postponing a passion project, failing to travel, or avoiding a necessary difficult conversation, all because of the fear, the doubt, or the old illusion that there was still plenty of time. I want you to understand this. The greatest barrier to your true awakened life is not the lack of ability, but the preference for comfort over courage. Life in its essence is movement and growth. If you are not moving forward, you are subtly stagnating. You may feel safe, but you are not feeling truly alive. The practice here is simple yet demanding. Be brave enough to step to the edge of your current map. Do something new today that makes your heart beat a little faster. Ask the question you've been avoiding. Start the project you keep postponing. There is no awakening in complacency. True joy, deep meaning, and radical change only begin outside the fence of what is familiar. Be courageous enough to try something new and dare to live the life you truly desire right now. If today's reflection resonates with you, you're welcome to support the channel by liking, sharing, or subscribing. Each small action you take is a source of energy that helps me continue creating mindful content for the @Buddha Essence Wisdom community.